Chapter 12. He doesn't play around, does he? That was what you conveniently kept from me. Come with me, Lannis said, taking Daniela's hand. She pulled away from him. If he's the Prince of Ovid, I'll wait until he boards the ship, and the way he's pounding this ship with those lasers, it won't be long. If he boards the ship, all will die. Even your parents? They took my side against him. He may spare them, but I doubt it. What kind of family do you have anyway? Lannis didn't want to debate with Danielle, time wasn't on their side. He took her by the hand, and at first she resisted, and that was because he allowed her to resist him. You will have to come with me. My brother senses you are here. If you are gone, then he will stop the attack. We have no time to waste. Lannis didn't give her a second to question him further. He picked her up and threw her over his shoulder and rushed out of the room. The sound of computers spewing out data about the pending boarding of an alien space vessel. Then a male voice speaking a foreign language screaming to abandon ship. Danielle screamed at Lannis and then kicked and flayed her arms and legs about protesting about being taken against her will, which didn't deter Lannis from his course of action. As the male and females scurried to their stations and Lannis hurried to his shuttle, he passed Millennium. I'm taking the female away. There shouldn't be any more trouble once she's off the ship. Where are you going? Millennium questioned, his eyes glaring down on Daniela's perfectly formed ass. You shouldn't know in case something goes wrong. I'm not going to bring her to Osmium until... He didn't talk in Daniela's language. He spoke in Osmium. If I'm to protect her from my brother, she will have to mate with me soon, and I can't get her to do that. Why don't you take her? Millennium said. She's bringing shame to you, and will start a war between you and your brother. I cannot do that to her. We no longer force ourselves on our females. That happened thousands of years before. We are civilized like the Earthlings from her planet. I have to learn to be an Earthling and treat her as an enlightened being. Then maybe she will accept me. If it were me. Lannis raised an eyebrow and furrowed his brow. I'm not you and she's mine, not yours. Very well, King Lannis. When will you return? Your father is getting old and he will need you. I'm not sure. If I can't mate with her, I will never return. Millennium stood and lowered his eyes and turned and rushed away. Lannis put Danielle on her feet. He took her hand and she walked alongside of him. What were you talking about? I suppose that was a secret, or you would have spoken in my language. On Earth we consider that rude to speak a different language in front of guests. You are in my universe, or have you forgotten? Lannis's patience with Danielle had been tested, and he felt it slipping away, what with all the questions and difficulties he had endured with her. You have to promise me that you will come with me, and don't ask any more questions. His voice took on a tone that she hadn't witnessed, and Danielle knew she had tested him beyond what she had normally done, and he must have liked her to put up with her frustrating behavior. A man like that who would go through what she put him through, and to put her in front of his family was a keeper. I promise, Danielle said. Lannis looked at Danielle. I promise. What more can I say? She stood still for a moment, looking like a new puppy, but when he turned his head she took off running as if she thought it was a game or joke. Lannis soon overtook her and swept her up into his arms, and stepped into the elevator and zoomed to the bottom of the ship. I thought I could trust you. Do I have to tie you up? No. She said, her voice dry. She didn't know where she was running to, she just didn't want anything or anybody to set boundaries for her. When they reached the cargo hold where the shuttle stood, the door opened. His soldiers were standing waiting. Is it ready? Lannis said. Yes, Commander and my king. Danielle kicked forcefully and screamed as Lannis stepped onto the shuttle. Where are you taking me, and shouldn't I have on some kind of face mask or helmet? This ship is equipped with oxygen and pressurized like my other ships. We get many humans and have to accommodate them. All you have to do is sit or sleep in the back, and I'll take care of the rest. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to be physically abused in a spacecraft as we circle those planets and a few of the moons. And I don't want to be sleeping if I die on here with you. I want a fighting chance at least, so thank you very much, but I'd rather be awake if you have any notions about taking me against my will. Lannis glanced at Danielle and gave her a crooked smile. I see you want to make sure you enjoy every minute of me ravishing you. Well, don't worry, I don't have to take any female. I have plenty on the planets we're going to. Then why me? Why have you risked your family and money to keep me safe and from the Prince of Ovid? I think I might want to see this prince you're trying to keep me away from. You may see him sooner than you want. Now please sit down until my ship departs and is in outer space away from this mothership. The doors opened on the mothership and the shuttle took off into space, zooming past light speed, throwing Danielle into a soft bed. She buckled up and lay there as Lannis piloted the small vessel. When they were cruising in outer space and it was calm and no longer in the vantage point of Lannis's mothership, Danielle stepped to the back of the captain's chair on the small deck and sat in the co-pilot's chair near him. Where are you taking me? I haven't decided yet. Maybe to your home planet. I would need to change out of this outfit. There are some uniforms in the back of the shuttle, near the bed. I don't want to go back to Earth, and what do you mean near the bed? You have a bed on this thing? My shuttle is equipped with everything that's on the larger mothership. We will be months or maybe a year before we reach your or any other planet. Why do you think I joined the Star Splitter? I never wanted to go home. Danielle had this sad expression on her face. Lannis looked over at her. What are you afraid of beside me? Lannis said. I'm not afraid of you. She glanced away, then pulled her expression back to Lannis. She studied him, her eyes tracing the contours of his face and chest and arms and shoulders. Never had she seen a fine specimen of a man. Yet she questioned whether he was what she thought he was. She remembered some of the stories told by human females, and she wondered why the rush to marry her. She knew what he said, but she didn't believe him. Have you decided where we're going? Into that solar system. He pointed out and then smiled at her. She narrowed her eyes. What did that planet remind her of? To a planet like your Earth. Exactly, she thought. I didn't know there were many like it. There are only two in this universe. Your planet and Bellatorf. Sleep, beautiful angel of mine. We'll be landing soon. I'm hungry and I want food I can recognize. I promise you it won't disappoint, Lannis said with a hidden smile. Danielle stood to walk to the rear of the shuttle when a loud bang hit the ship. It shot her back to the rear. Stay back and get into that pod. What happened? Danielle said, trying to make it to the front of the small spacecraft. I don't want to go into that pod again. I could wake up 5 more years with some monster. Only my brother, he said to her with a worried look on his face. We hit space debris. It could have been large rocks or a small meteorite. Stay down. I'm trying to get the ship under control. I think it ruptured something, he said, checking with the AI system in his ship. Then, as Lannis was looking around for Danielle, another large bang hit the ship.